Hello. Is it working? Let me know in the comment section below before we start, everybody, because I ain't gonna... Basically, if you've just tuned in, let me just reduce the camera brightness. We had a little bit of a malfunction. Now, if this isn't working, I'll be deleting the stream straight off the back. Muted. Yeah, JMS. Yeah. Trying to just be a troll. Yeah. It's all good. It's all good. Thank you. Listen, just to give some context, I was out and about. It was pre-recorded, okay? I was out and about, listening to some music, and then I started getting a call. Shout out to you, Lloyd Dean, who let me know on Facebook. What's going on? Pick my phone up. Pick my phone up. No response on my phone either. Phone was going dead. Then he sent me a message saying my stream had gone. It was on mute. Checked it out. It was on mute. Pulled over on the hard shoulder. Couldn't delete it anywhere. Finally deleted it. It had been going on for about 8 minutes. The tiresome world of YouTube. So here we are. Hope you're all good anyway, guys. There is... How many? 288 of you in the building. Hello. If you wouldn't mind smashing the like, we got 1.2k likes yesterday on the video, and it was showing on the algorithm. Everyone was able to see it. Basically, when I talk about the algorithm, everybody, it's YouTube's home screen. When people put Leeds United in, it comes up with my stuff, sort of first, second, third. Thank you so much. If you wouldn't mind liking the video, it does me a solid. It helps me just get more views on the video, which means that I can do more like content creating for you guys because more people are recognizing it. So make sure you like the video, make sure you subscribed as well, and make sure you put in your comments in. I can already see the comments streaming in. So let's get into some of your comments. It's a bit impromptu, but we're going for another one. Herbie, afternoon, Conor, you look nicely tanned. Well, thank you, my friend. Thank you. 10 days away in Skiathos. I couldn't believe, actually, the amount of Leeds fans that were in Skiathos. Apparently, there was like 3 sports bars. We were in one called Fed Rock, and there was about 8 or 9 Leeds fans watching the game, and Man City were on at the same time, Newcastle were on at the same time. There's more Leeds fans. There is always more Leeds fans. And then there was a sports bar apparently down the road where there was 20 to 30 Leeds fans in there. So we were always on the big screen. We were always in the big screen as well when I was in Sydney and Melbourne, always on the big screens there. So dominant club, that's all I'm saying. Fans everywhere. But thank you to everybody to be in the building. James the graphic designer. Hello, James. Hope you're all good, mate. Lewis O'Brien yesterday missed out there. Yeah, well, he's not good enough though, is he? He's not good enough. Lewis O'Brien, who's never good enough for Leeds. Never good enough for Leeds. We're going to get into some interesting rumours in this one as well, everybody. We're going to start off with James Garner, the one that Conor McGilligan, yes, I'm talking in a different person, the one that Conor McGilligan wanted as one of Leeds' central midfield bodies this window. Manchester United are selling him, which I think is absolutely hilarious. They're looking at 14 million. That's by Laurie Whitwell and the Manchester Evening News this morning. They're looking at selling him for 14 million. That club. We have to beat them. We have to beat them this season. Please. We can't have teams... Brighton, Brentford, there's going to be I bet Forest cap a win on them as well. You're going to get so many teams who are going to beat this lot this season. We can't lose them. We can't get hammered by them. We've got to beat them. They're a joke. So they are looking at selling James Garner after saying that they wanted to keep him all last season. After he'd been at his loan spell at Forest, they wanted to give him a chance. They haven't given him a chance. They've still got McFred in the middle. They want to sell James Garner for 14 million. Apparently Leeds United, Newcastle, Southampton are heavy on Garner. Obviously, we've been heavy on him for a long time now. I know a lot of you guys are going to be screaming from the rooftops and saying, what's the point? What's the point, Conor? We've got Forshaw, we've got Click, we've got Rocker, we've got Tyler Adams in there. The thing is with James Garner is he's another body in there, and he's another body of quality. You know what I mean? He's another body where you turn around and say, that's an upgrade. I would say, and I'm not going to name the personnel, but I would say James Garner is an upgrade on at least 2 of our midfielders in there. So for me, he is 100% someone that could come in, and maybe that would mean that another body in our midfield could be sold on this window. I think James Garner's a fantastic player. You guys know, obviously, that I work for the Manchester Evening News, more on the City side, as you guys all know. But they highly rate him on the dark side as well. They really, really do. So I think that's a massive take for Leeds. I think 14 million would be a brilliant signing. Leeds are clearly hugely interested in him. We have been since the start of the window. That was said right at the start by The Athletic, by Phil Hay, discussing James Garner has been one of the potential options. I think his progressive passing, I think how industrious he is, I think how physical he is, I think his potential with him only being 21 is very, very high. I think it's a no-brainer. I think it's an absolute no-brainer. And if you're even having a bargaining tool and Leeds are maybe going up to 20 million, do you go up to 20 million? Probably when you're looking at James Garner. Some people may say no, but I was just so impressed with him for Forest last season. I know Forest will probably try and get him back again. But I think Leeds have a real chance with getting him in. And then, you look at someone like Mark Rocker being out. James Garner is a distributor. So if Mark Rocker was to leave, he's not fit or whatever, which is probably going to happen at this point in this season, we don't have anybody to rely on to be that distributor in and around Tyler Adams. It's just Tyler Adams and Adam Forshaw, who are the same profile player. Now, James Garner isn't a replica of Mark Rocker, but he's very good at progressive passing. He's very good at moving the ball. So I think it'd be a really sensible signing who would make a lot of sense in my opinion. Get your opinions in, everybody. There's 476 in the room. There's 517 now. Make sure you're liking the videos. I keep saying, guys. Man United getting rid of Garner and keeping McFred is quite astonishing. It's unbelievable, mate. They're an absolute joke. They're a joke of a club, and I absolutely love it. Ian said, Roddy to step up and help with the goals. I wrote him off. Rodrigo. Yes, Ian, and no for me. We had this all last season, didn't we? We had this all season with Rodrigo. There was spouts at the end of there was bouts, I should say, at the end of the Bielsa. We won 7 games out of 10 the Bielsa season in the Premier League, where he was fantastic. Obviously, got a goal at Southampton, didn't he? A couple of fantastic finishes away at Burnley. The thing is with Rodders, it's that consistency. The funny thing is, he's got more goals in I think he's got more goals than is it Jadon Sancho now in a ridiculous amount of appearances that Sancho's made for Man United, which is quite funny, keeping that Man United link alive. But yeah, I think we'll have to see with Rodrigo. The jury's always out on him for me. I think his general play is okay. I think it's okay. I think he loses the ball too much, but I'll give him credit. 3 goals already this season, and let's hope he can keep it up. Mate, I can't even pronounce that name, but Jungve? Sander Berg would be a great sign if possible. Rumours in Norwegian media said he could be leaving to Belgium for 20 million. No comment, mate. A lot of Leeds fans get a little bit upset about that one when I talk about Sander Berg. A lot of people take rumours very, very personally and opinions very, very personally. Very, very touchy. So I ain't going to comment on Sander Berg anymore. Hey, Conor says, Sharpie and Jagsy, saw you on the overlap. Agree with everything you said, and I love that away kit you are. Cheers, mate. Yeah, I'll tell you what, I won't be doing, mate. I will not be getting that away kit that we've got this season. Once again, fans get very personal about away kits, don't they? But yeah, it's awful, that mouldy cheese thing. I'll tell you what, though, I did see a lot of people on holiday wearing the shorts. And also, just even watching the game the other day, the shorts look absolutely beautiful. Wish they could just match that up. So anyway, the next rumour on the mill today, everybody. Now, the pronunciation of this guy's name is, I'm going to absolutely murder it. So, Ganonto, or it's either going to be Ganonto. I've heard Nanso. So he is an Italian 18-year-old who is currently playing in the Swiss league for Zurich, and he's broken into the Italy side as well this season. Allegedly, according to Sky Sports Italy, Leeds United are looking to make a move there. We're going to look to put in a bid for about 4 to 5 million quid. This guy looks like a bit of a breakthrough star. As I've said, 18 years of age, already broken into the Italian squad. Fantastic movement, very, very intelligent, can play anywhere along the front four, which sort of fits the Charles de Ketelaere mould, which we know was the sort of profile Leeds were looking at in terms of not just being able to play one position, the traditional number 9, which, as I've said to you guys multiple times, after Harry Kane, Lewandowski and Benzema is probably going to die out, because that number 9 nowadays needs to play multiple positions. Nonto sort of fits that. The versatility is something that Leeds will clearly be looking into as well. So I don't really know with this one. He's an unknown. I've just done a little bit of research on him. Very unknown. Can't profess to know anything about him or who he is. But he seems like a good fit in terms of a young profile. The striker profile that we need right now, in my opinion, is something completely different to this in terms of what I want as someone to come in now and be Premier League ready. Someone to be able to challenge our number 9 for his starting position. That's what I want, a striker to challenge him, not just almost like a supplementary to Joe Gelhardt. You also look at the strikers that we brought in as well. We brought Sonny Perkins in, who's highly, highly regarded on the 21 scene from obviously West Ham United. Then if Nonto comes in, is he going to be sort of blocking Sonny Perkins there? There's going to have to be, I'm sure there'll have been discussions about Sonny Perkins' pathway to the first team. That's probably what got him over the line ahead of Leeds battling Spurs for his signature. So a lot of moving parts here, Now, I'm just going to get some of your comments because some really good ones coming in. Anomaly says, okay, getting on to for the 21s, but we are stacked in the 21s for strikers. Does no one get moved on to the first team? Matteo Joseph as well, says Tommy, who Matteo Joseph scores he scored 4 goals against Derby as well, didn't he? Josh says, wrong type of striker we're looking for. Need someone to challenge Bamford. Holler, my friend. Yeah, I think... This is what I was saying yesterday, and it seemed a couple of you guys resonated with it. It got clipped up put on social media. I think, clearly some of you guys agreed with it, which was quite nice to hear. But for me, I don't understand the mentality. I don't. It's the friendly vibe thing again, where it's like, well, Paddy's got his LUFC Lewis is ringing me there. Hold on, Lewis, mate. I'm just on a stream. But yeah, no, I think. This is the profile, isn't it? The profile of the striker we need is very different to almost like what Leeds need as a requirement this season. For me, you look at Villa as an example, right? When Ollie Watkins came in, when they bought him for 35 million in the Premier League, he would have been sold that dream of being that number 9, and nobody else was going to come in. Villa were ruthless, and then they brought in Danny Ings to compete with him. So you got 2 Premier League ready strikers there competing with each other for that number 9 jersey. For me, we have a little bit of a problem in this area, and I don't really understand where Leeds' heads are with it. Gelhardt, you have to manage very, very well. And that's where it's difficult. Joe Gelhardt is the problem. A very good problem, may I add, because he's a fantastic player. As Radrazani said, one of the best young prospects, if not the best young prospect for his age in the Premier League. So that is a talent that we've got. But he kept going on in this interview about blocking Joe Gelhardt. Why do you need to block Joe Gelhardt? A striker coming in, Shea Adams, Ollie Watkins, goes straight into that starting 11 competing with Patrick Bamford. And then for me, you've got 3 players competing for that number 9 jersey. 3 players competing with each other. Why is Bamford the automatic starter? Why is Bamford... I really, really like Bamford, and this is no degrading comment on him whatsoever. But there are definitely strikers who match him in terms of quality. There are definitely strikers who match Leeds' system as much as Patrick Bamford. Let's look at Ollie Watkins as an example, his attributes. Extremely good in the round, as I was saying yesterday about Shea Adams with those instinctive finishes. Works the channels exceptionally well, which when you're playing that direct football is a necessary attribute, almost a requirement. Takes up very, very good positions along the front line. Goals as a left or right forward, which is very, very, very important when you look at Leeds maybe changing up the system a little bit, maybe going to 2 up top. He can play on the right, he can play on the left as well. Talking about that versatility of a front 3 or a front 4, whatever. And also he's a threat from outside the box, which we don't have enough of in this side when it comes to strikers. So I think Ollie Watkins would be a magnificent signing. I still think Shea Adams would be a very, very good signing. Someone said to me yesterday, Conor, you keep talking about Shea Adams, which I don't. I feel like, if people ask me about Shea Adams, I'm just going to give my honest opinion. And apparently Leeds are still monitoring him. There's a possibility there, as per Phil Hay this morning. Shea Adams was involved in both goals at the weekend. And this is what I don't understand. What football... And the individual said to me, am I watching a different game? What on earth did Shea Adams do? Well, he bullied Robin Koch to the ball, played a lovely 1-2 with Adam Armstrong, who then put the ball into Joe Rebo. That was all started by Shea Adams' hold-up play and link-up play. That's what it was started with, and this is what we miss. He dropped deep, 1-2 with Adams, lovely little flick around the corner, with Armstrong. Armstrong was in, played the ball over, Joe Rebo 2-1. Second goal. He goes from the left centre-back, our left centre-back, runs all the way across the pitch towards Rasmus Christensen, whose ball it should have been. He should have commanded that ball and used his physicality. Shea Adams gets in front of Christensen, bearing in mind Christensen's about 4 inches bigger than him, uses physicality, brings the ball down. The ball then gets to ex-Leeds United target Sekou Mara, who plays the ball into Kyle Walker-Peters. He was directly involved in 2 of the goals. Directly involved. If Shea Adams wasn't in the build-up, the goals wouldn't have happened. It wouldn't have happened. It was all down to his work from the front line, linking up play, holding up play. So this is what I'm talking about. It's almost agendas against certain players. It's not actually looking at it and thinking, well, this has happened. That is actually where he could fit in at Leeds, holding the ball up, linking play, which we don't have enough of from the front line consistently because we have too many injuries. Way too many injuries. Shea Adams has got a good fitness record, very decent fitness record, as does Ollie Watkins. So what are we doing? Are we Friends FC here? Is this what we are? Is Junior Firpo just getting his left back spot whenever he comes back? I always say football is based on a meritocracy. Does he merit walking back into that left back spot after last season's performances, after last season's discipline record, after last season's injury records as well? Probably not. So the news about Kai Wagner, which I'm going to get onto in a little bit, is great news because you need healthy competition in these positions. Every club I mentioned it earlier on. They may not be to the best of standard, but you're even looking at a team like Nottingham Forest, who have they brought the Hertha Berlin striker in, who scored yesterday. They're probably bringing in Emmanuel Dennis now, and there's also chat about them bringing in Neil Maupay. Okay, so then you've got 3 strikers there battling for that number 9 top. That is healthy competition. That is really, really healthy competition. Look at anywhere in the Premier League. Crystal Palace, Mateta and Edouard. As I've said, Aston Villa, Danny Ings and Watkins. It's all across the Premier League. You know, experienced strikers competing with each other. And that is what gets you goals. That's what gets you assists. That's what provides, as I keep saying, healthy competition. And this is what I don't understand with fans. It's like, no, Paddy, Junior, they all come in, they get the shirts back. It's easy. It's comfortable. It's very, very comfortable being a Leeds United player in those positions. That's why we have to spruce it up. Look at right back. If Rasmus Christensen continues with and this is awful to say because I'm really backing Rasmus. I am. You can't judge him on 2 games, you can't. But if he continues in some of the vein of form he's in, Cody Drame is right on his heels. That's healthy competition. We don't have that at left back. We don't have that up front. So let's get your comments in, everybody. Let's have a look what Dean says. Because we need a left back, I would still look at Emerson on loan from Chelsea. Not a bad shout, mate. Not a bad shout at all, Emerson from Chelsea. Don't know about his game time, though. I'd arguably like a left-back to come in who actually has game time, who is very, very used to the system. We'll get onto that in just a little bit. Matt Goodall said Watkins over Shea, but don't think we'll stump up the cash and pay 35 million quid for Watkins as well, Matt. This is harsh for people to hear. Very harsh for people to hear. Is it a step back for him? Are we going to bypass Villa in terms of wages, in terms of a package for Ollie Watkins? And are we at the stage now as a club where we are on a more upward trajectory than Aston Villa? This isn't me saying Aston Villa are the be-all and end-all. This isn't me saying, Aston Villa or this, that and the other. People take their own narratives from these videos. Listen to me carefully. All I'm saying is with Leeds last season, with the profile that we have, 17th place, the wage structure that we have, which probably isn't as healthy, or isn't as big, I should say, not as healthy, as big as Aston Villa, and where Villa did finish last season, which wasn't impressive at all. It really wasn't, but it was still above Leeds United. Why would Ollie Watkins come to Leeds United? Maybe because he's not getting enough game time, but he got game time at the weekend and he was brilliant. I think Ollie Watkins, in his head, will only go to a team maybe above Leeds United in terms of profile from last season and where the projections are. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Charlie Taylor, Conor, another buzz one. I can't say, Joe. I know that we've got the buzz ones. We've got Sanderberger, Charlie Taylor. It's going to become Shea Adams soon because people don't like those 3. I'll have Ollie Watkins next. Yeah, I'm not allowed to say his name anymore. What was it, Voldemort? Oh. Well, Tyler says, Kai Wagner is already fit. MLS is mid-season and he hasn't missed a minute so far. Yeah, on top of that, mate. What the interesting thing about Kai Wagner is Philadelphia Union play a narrow, compact system in a 4-4-2 narrow or a 4-4-2 diamond. That's where it's very, very interesting. So keep an eye on Kai Wagner. That's been rumoured again today. Lots of publications saying that apparently Leeds United are going to be looking at signing Kai Wagner. That is of Jesse Marsh's request. Apparently, he's really, really pushing for him. Great. Fine. Absolutely fine. What is he, 29 years of age? Benfica are interested. FC Porto are interested in him. He's got a good profile. Doesn't miss many minutes. Hopefully. We don't know. We don't know until they step into the Premier League. We've seen that with Aronson, Christensen, Rocker, Adams. When they step in, that's when you get the real litmus test, isn't it? At the minute, we wouldn't know how he'd step into the Premier League. That's always the risk. However, you've got to go out and do another left back. If you don't go out and do another left back or another striker, you have failed in this transfer window. It doesn't matter if you've brought in Calvin Phillips replacement, if you brought in Sinister, the glossy signing, who I am really, really excited to see, but it's a very glossy signing, isn't it? And it's a sort of X factor signing, which we did need in for Rafinha. Christensen, great. Xabi, okay. Fine. I don't know what we're going to be doing with him. Is he going to be going out on loan? Is he going to get any minutes? Sonny Perkins, obviously more for the development side of it, isn't he? So you've done all that, but you've not addressed two critical positions. The best and most effective way of getting at Leeds in the Jesse Marsch system is out wide. Okay, if you're not bringing in a efficient left back who is able to not only be good going forward, but has to be very, very good 1v1 defensively, and has to just be good defensively in general. With teams that are going to spread out wide to hurt Leeds. We've seen it with Wolves and Southampton. If you're not adequately filling that position, which is so important in this system and so important in the Premier League with the level of wingers that are in the Premier League, which we've seen with Gineppo and we've seen with Neto, not the best, but still very, very good quality wingers, you have failed. And if you've not brought in a striker who can compete with Patrick Bamford, who could, believe it or not, maybe even take Patrick Bamford's shirt when he's injured, then you have failed. You have ultimately failed. And I am not of the mindset of the board. I am not of the mindset of many others who are very chilled with everything at the minute. I'm not very chilled with what's going on. Do you know what? If we brought in a striker, if we brought in a left back, you would see my smile go from here to there, bang. 2 points. I would be smiling my arse off every single week. Because that's all. I'm not asking for the world. We're not asking for the world. Just sort those two problems. That's it. And then you've done it. We've had a brilliant window. But as of right now, as of 12:45, the 15th, Leeds United, in my opinion, have failed so far in the market to really address the proper issues. That's my thoughts anyway. Okay, why have we not got on Brereton Diaz, Kim? Thank you for your donation, my friend. I really appreciate that one. Ben Brereton Diaz is on my list of rumours today. It's probably the price, to be honest, Kim. That is probably the price. And when we're looking at someone like Nonto, who is obviously playing for FC Zurich, is he going to be coming in? Is he going to be the profile we're looking at for 4 to 5 million quid? And then we don't block the development of Gelhardt, which I think is important. But then the Bamford thing, I don't get it, but it is what it is. Yeah, I like that, but he's going to be part of the 21 setup. But then again, how are you going to be able to sell? When he's broken into the Italian squad, how do you sell to him that he's going to be part of the 21 side? He's broken into the Italian squad, by the way, everybody. This is how highly rated this kid is. So it'd be a great signing, but is it for now? Is he Premier League ready? You need someone who is of Bamford's level to be challenging with Bamford. And I'm telling you, if I'm a striker, if I'm a Shea Adams or an Ollie Watkins, and Leeds come to me and they say, right, well, Paddy, he's the starting striker. We've got this young kid who's very good, who, fair play, we don't want to block, but he's our starting striker. Whenever he's injured, you guys can come in. How about that, Shea? How about that, Ollie? I'm looking around, I'm thinking, you what? No. No. I'm all right, thanks. I'm all right. That should be my jersey. That's how it should be. That is what it's all about. And remember when we were sold all of this, like three players for every position. Where's that gone? Where are these 3 players for every position? Or 2 players for every position, which was spoken about 3 years ago, consistently by Angus Kinnear, by Victor Orta, 2-3 players for every position. We haven't got that. So that needs addressing really, really quickly. I do really think that they'd help. Ben Brereton Diaz. I think the sell to Ben Brereton Diaz out of Shea Adams, Ollie Watkins, and whoever you're going to throw in there, João Pedro or Emmanuel Dennis, if you're going to throw that in there, the easy sell is to Ben Brereton Diaz. The problem is with Ben Brereton Diaz is he's going to be a lot of money, I think. I think they're going to be looking at 20 to 25 million. But if you go to Ben Brereton Diaz, who's never played in the Premier League before, and you say, look, Bamford is the number 1 striker, but you can be, whenever he's out, you can come in. That's very, very different selling that to a championship striker. Very, very different. You can't sell that to Ollie Watkins and Shea Adams. You can't. You can't sell that project. Shea Adams, who finished higher than Leeds last season with Southampton. Ollie Watkins, who finished higher than Leeds last year with Aston Villa. So you can sell that to Ben Brereton Diaz. There's a level of which you can sell it to Nonto, excuse me for murdering his name, but you can't sell that to some top players. You can't. So they will not get far with that if that's, and that's probably why we're looking at players like that. Okay, let's get into some of what your thoughts are, everybody. There's nearly 1,000 of you in the building on Monday, which is nuts. Thank you so much. Please like the video if you're enjoying what I'm saying. Even if you disagree with what I'm saying, it's great that you're all here. It's great that this is a forum. It's great that you guys enjoy it. As I say, 1 o'clock on an impromptu day where I didn't know if I was going to be doing this. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will have a show later on, the debrief. That will be back at 7 o'clock where we'll be discussing Wolves. We'll be discussing Southampton, the transfer business so far. I know we have a lot of varying opinions, which has been definitely heated at points on the group chat this week. So make sure you tune in for that at 7 o'clock. That'll be tonight as well. So as I say, I'm ramping up the content, guys. Patreon as well. We'll have some stuff on there later on. Okay, Ashley's in the building and says, how about Mitrovic? How much would we have to an offer to make for Fulham to hand him over? You'd be perfect. I think, Ashley, I get that. I get the Mitrovic thing. That's certainly one Brownie's always been hammering as well. I just think the price is going to be ridiculous. You know, the guy scored, 45 goals in the Championship last season. He's already got off the mark against Liverpool where he was unbelievable in that starting game. I'm still of the opinion that I'm not sure if he can transition into the Premier League over a longer period of time. You know, for someone like like Che Adams or Ollie Watkins, they might not get the goals, they might not get the mass assists that Leeds fans think we need from a striker. But what they do is they bring others into play. The hold-up play is immense. They're running in and out of the channels, which is expert, and the link-up play is very, very good as well. So all the attributes that fit that Jesse Marsh system, all the attributes that we had when we were looking at Aronson and we're all waxing lyrical about Aronson and Rocker and how they fit into the system and how they need those system-based attributes, those two have those. And it's going to enable other players, like we saw at the weekend with Che Adams, when he bullied us for the 2 goals, it's going to enable other players to get goals as well, aka Kyle Walker-Peters and Joe Aribo. So I in my opinion, mate, I think Mitrovic is I think you get the best out of Mitrovic by getting the ball out wide and knocking it into the box. And Leeds aren't going to do that a lot, in my opinion, because we're playing a narrow, compact system. So I understand why people want Mitrovic, but I think he needs a more 4-3-3 system. A 4-3-3 system is going to benefit him, which we've seen for the national side, Serbia, and we've seen for Fulham as well. Out wide, really wide right wingers and left wingers to knock the ball in. It's not what Fulham did last time. Fulham came up into the Premier League with Scott Parker and we're trying to play tipper-tapper football in and around Mitrovic. It's not what you need. As you saw against Liverpool, you knock that ball into the box, he's going to meet it. And Leeds won't play like that because we won't have the necessary width to be able to knock the ball into the box. It's all central. It's all about linking play and holding the ball up. Let's have a look. Sai says, Conor, do you not think sometimes the board are blinkered by only signing up and coming targets? Sometimes you just need to go for a proven asset. No point in risking it, especially after last season. I think it's a huge risk, mate. I really do. And I think that's where the frustrations are. Sometimes I've been on here saying sometimes I just wish Victor would go with a regular sign and not a Hollywood signing. And I think I was asked a lot of times, you know, in the window when you look at someone like Joel Robles, who we brought in, I'm really happy with, an experienced goalkeeper, which is what I said from the start, fantastic. However, I don't know the ways of the deal. I don't know exactly, how we'd be going about these things, but you do look at. There were obvious deals to be done. And I'm not upset with Joel Robles at all, but this is what I'm saying with the Victor Orta thing. It is almost like he does have his own targets in his head. He does have his own ways of doing things where we might think, okay, well, that's really obvious. But Victor is just like, no, I want to get this sort of glamour signing, which sometimes I think it works, as we've seen with Rafinha, as we've seen with Ilan Meslier. None of us knew any of these names when they came through the door, and there were maybe more obvious signings out there for Leeds United to go and get, but they've worked. So you've got to give kudos to him for that. But I think there are some obvious ones that are out there which do sometimes get a little bit frustrating to fans, because all we'll see is Leeds are interested, Everton are interested, Southampton are interested, and where will they go? They'll always seemingly, when they're known to us, they'll always seem to go to other clubs. For example, Che Adams is now top of Everton's list. You saw in the second goal for Southampton, Sekou Mara, who came from Bordeaux for 12 million to Southampton, who also were interested in him, who were inquiring about him with Southampton. It was Leeds United. I mean, I will profess to say we didn't know anything about him as well, so he'd fall into the Rafinha and the Meslier bracket, of course. But sometimes when you see those obvious ones there who are cheap and have got great records, it doesn't seem that Leeds really actively push the boat out, and we wait and wait and wait and wait. So I can understand the frustration, but you're hoping there's good reason behind it, really. Che Adams is dreadful. As I said on Joe's channel, rather James than Adams up front. That's how bad Adams is. I completely disagree with you there, mate. I tell you what. So, thank you for your donation, mate. But why? In the system, why? Is it because he didn't come to Leeds in 2020? Is it because of Southampton rejected? Because that's what Marcelo Bielsa wanted, by the way, over Jean-Kevin Augustin. He wanted Shea Adams. So it's a bulge out there because that, you know, if Leeds are interested in him now, that you're probably looking at Jesse Marsh being all in on him. You're looking at Victor Orta definitely being all in on him. And then you're looking previously Marcelo Bielsa being all in on him. And Leeds, I can tell you for a fact, were wanting Shea Adams. So, yeah, I don't know. I think he fits multiple systems. I think in the RB setup, it's a brilliant signing. And as I say, if it wasn't for Shea Adams, Southampton wouldn't have been in the game. They wouldn't have been in the game, really. I think Leeds had sort of, like, you know, won it comfortably 2-0. I think he was massive in both goals with hold-up play and link-up play. What's in that coffee, mate? It's a latte, mate. It's a latte. And yeah, fair enough, Sean. Doesn't score enough goals for a striker. Does have a goal contribution every 3 games, though. Does have a goal contribution every 3 games. Obviously got pretty much 2 goal contributions against Leeds United. As I just said, if it wasn't for him, they wouldn't have scored. I am very much of the opinion that it's not about the goals and the assists all the time as a striker anymore. As I've said multiple times, I think it's the attributes to fit the system, which is massive, that brings other players into play. And, you know, it's all about the unit. It's not about the individual scoring bag full of goals and getting bagfuls of assists. It's about the system working. And I think Shea Adams fits that absolutely perfectly. Think about the times that we were against, when we were playing Southampton, how many times Leeds had the ball at the back and tried to relieve the pressure by going long. Couldn't stick with Rodrigo because he's not that sort of player. When Dan James had come over and tried to compete with the centre-backs, it's not going to stick with him against Salisu and Bednarek. When you've got a physical player like Shea Adams in there and a physical player, let's say, like Ollie Watkins in there, who know how to win free kicks, know how to hold the ball up, that's going to be really advantageous to Leeds United because it relieves pressure and means we can move 15 yards up the pitch. I think it would be a really, really good sign, in my opinion, mate. But it is what it is. You know, I understand football's a game of opinions, of course. Scott says, any early thoughts on Sinister? Conor, personally, I haven't seen much of him in pre-season. The few minutes he's played so far, you know, he nearly got on the score sheet, didn't he, Scott? If Rodrigo, in that final minute, you know, when he had the ball and he had a strike and the keeper saved it, if he'd have just switched that ball into the box, Sinister was there, that'd have made it 3-2. But we've not seen enough of him, have we? We should have seen more of him. I'll tell you that for free. When Jack Harrison was absolutely knackered in 33-degree heat and the goal came from his side, and then the manager blamed Jack Harrison. That should have been the Sinister replacement. Should have been Jack Harrison in around about the 55th, 60th minute when Jack was absolutely running in treacle, and he looks absolutely beat. That's when Sinister should have come on and we'd have got a little bit more of a view of him. But I don't know when we're going to see him start, really. I don't know whether or not Marsh is going to continue with the Harrison, Aronson, and who else? I've lost it. You guys will have to remind me. Rocker, Adams, Harrison, Aronson. Just one more. Don't know what's going on. But there you go. Belotti and Januzaj are both free agents who are both internationals and play for big clubs. Why not go and get them? Yeah, 100%. Sean again. We do need an out-and-out goal scorer. The amount of chances we missed in the Wolves match was shocking. Yeah, I agree. Rodrigo, that's it. Cheers, guys. Rodrigo. Sean, I don't disagree with you there, but is it realistic, mate? Who is an out-and-out goal scorer that Leeds United, who finished 17th last season? You know, some fans think our profile is signing top 4 target signings, which is not. We're not on that level. We can't compete with that. Who out there is an out-and-out goal scorer who's going to get you 20 to 30 goals a season that Leeds can go and sign? This is where we've got a bit. What is that ballpark now? And who's out there? I'd love, honestly, 100%. I don't disagree with you. I think that striker has to have more link-up attributes in this system. But who? Name me a striker that gets 15 to 20 to 25 goals, is going to fit into this system seamlessly, and is cheap and is a decent value. Let me know. Only Son and Salah got 20 goals last season. I think, yeah, I tell you what, the big one, which I look at, is we're talking about Emmanuel Dennis, weren't we? Not long ago on the rumour mill. I think if Forrest is to get him for 20 million, what was he? Did he score 16 goals last season, or he was involved in 16 goals? That is an unbelievable signing. That is an unbelievable for under 20 million. That is someone who I can look at and think he's going to get you goals. He's going to get you assists. He's probably going to be really good in the system as well. I think he's got a lot of power. He's got a lot of decent attributes. Running in the channels as well, which we've said is a top attribute when you look at this Jesse Marsch system. I don't know how his link-up play would be in a very quick system, which Leeds are playing. You know, it's one or two touch passing when we're going centrally, and when it's narrow, Emmanuel Dennis could be a really good signing. And this is what I'm saying, everybody. If it looks like Nottingham Forest are going to sign OR, who was an Arsenal target 2 years ago. Leeds apparently looked at him for around about 10 to 15 million in the central midfield space, which is a top signing. And they're about to sign Emmanuel Dennis. That is a combined fee, from what it looks like, from what it's been reported as 35 million. And this is what I'm trying to say. For top strikers and strikers who are going to get you 40 goals a season, 30, 20, 25, 30, 40 goals a season, you're going to be paying a lot of money. You're going to be paying a premium, but you don't always have to spend over the odds. And I think Leeds fans and other fans, of course, seem to think that whenever you go for a striker, whenever you go for a midfielder, the board can't afford it because that's obviously going to be 30 million. Remember with the whole Sanderberg thing ages ago. Conor, how can you say Sanderberg, that's going to cost us 35, 40 million? It's never going to cost you 35, 40 million. He's about to go to Belgium for 20 million. You know what I mean? That's the art of negotiation. So listen, I think when you're looking at those Forest profiles, I think it's going to be a big transition for them. But as I've mentioned earlier on, if you've got Dennis, Neil Maupay, and the lad yesterday, is it Onyoni from Hertha Berlin? That's three players who are competing for one spot. Maupay might not have got a bag full of goals in the Premier League, but he's an experienced Premier League striker. Emmanuel Dennis is a very, very decent Premier League striker, as we saw last season, a shockingly bad Watford side. And then you've got this Onyoni, who was brilliant at Hertha Berlin last season. You've got three players challenging for one position, and they're very, very decent players. What have we got at the minute? Patrick Bamford, who picks up 3 injuries a season, and Joe Gelhardt, who is an up-and-coming youngster who's still got quite a bit to learn, who also picks up injuries as well. And what we just, as a fan base, we're going to turn around and say, well, it doesn't matter because Rodrigo will go up front. It don't matter because Dan James will go up front. Is that what we're looking at as a fan base? Because maybe I need to adjust my expectations. I think I do. I think I do need to adjust my expectations. But I've said to you guys 1,000,001 times, my objective this season as a Leeds fan is to stay in the division. That's it. That's it. So if you're thinking maybe 10th in the Premier League, they've got to start moving big for you in these last, I don't know how many weeks are left of the window, 2-3 weeks. They've got to be moving big because there's no chance we're getting 10th place finish with sort of the squad that we have right now, and sort of the mentality of, it doesn't matter because we'll be blocking so and so's progress. We don't need challenges here. Firpo comes back in and gets his left back spot because Jesse really likes him. I just think, in my opinion, we just need to move things around a little bit, bring players in, and I think if we do that, 2 bodies in, I'd be over the moon. I'd be really, really happy. And it's a positive, fantastic window. I really do think that. Andy, Rodrigo did score 2 goals at the weekend, and I'm fully behind him, and I hope he does score more. But we've seen it before, haven't we, mate? That's all I'm saying. We saw it last season when he went through that spell, when Jesse Marsch came in, where he was fantastic. We saw it at the end of the Bielsa era as well, when we won 7 games out of 10, and he was fantastic in that last 4 or 5 games. We need to see it more consistently, mate. We need to stop this sort of pure reactionary stuff. When someone does something at the weekend, when someone does something in the last match, it means that they're a top quality player, and we can play them up front. When our starters are out, everyone's okay with Pascal Struijk at left back. What are we doing? Where are we, everyone? Come on. He's an elite centre-back. He's going to be an elite centre-back, in my opinion. Anyway, you guys might disagree, but he's a centre-back. He's a centre-back. Who's the cover for Pascal Struijk? Yelda, another centre-back. Are we all right with that? Is that okay? All I'm asking for is 1 left-back and a striker. That's it. And I'd be happy. I'd be over the moon. Is it really that much to ask? When I'm seeing clubs in and around the Premier League having 2 or 3 bodies in every position. Sticky, I'm not sure he's been fantastic. Listen, he's been decent. Of course, he's been decent, but the latter spell of the Marsh season, the back end. I mean, what was it? Last sort of 4 or 5 games. I'm not sure he was fantastic. When Marsh first came in, obviously Marsh had 12 games towards the end of the season, didn't he? The first sort of 6 games, I thought he was really decent. The last like 5 games, I think he went off the boil a little bit. And this is it as well. Andy. Sadly, Dallas is considered our cover for left back. And listen, I love him. I absolutely love him. I love Stuart Dallas. I think he's fantastic. Great servant to the club. But there's got to be a point where we move on. Hasn't there? There really has. But I am positive, believe it or not. I am. I just come on here and try call the shots and say like what I think we need to do. And if we do these things, I'm really happy. I really am, and I think we'll have a great window, and we've had a successful window. We've sorted out everything. I mentioned experienced goalkeeper, central midfielder, 2 DMs, a left back, a striker. I can't complain. There's nothing I can complain about. It's exactly what they've done. They've then brought in 7, 8 bodies, 9 bodies. Well, you can't say anything about that. They've done an excellent job, but at the minute, I'm just a little bit worried, and especially after Rads' interview, I'm just a little bit worried that we're going to go into this season and just. Well, we're going to continue with this season and just be Bamford in, Bamford out, Gelhardt in, Gelhardt out, not really build up that consistency. And fans just turn around and say, well, Rodrigo's there. It's like, yeah, he is, but, come on now. Why not just go out and get a striker? There are them there, and you would have to spend ridiculous money as well. We clearly don't have to spend balmy money to get them in. A nice dicky shirt. Cheers, mate. Right, everyone. I've been going for 42 minutes. This was supposed to be a 10-minute rumour mill. Listen, we're going to be back tonight with the debrief. We're going to be going from 7, so you've only got 5 hours to wait. Can you believe it? You can even fit the Liverpool gaming, so we'll be done by then. Please make sure you tune into that, everybody. Make sure you like the video so it shows up on the algorithm on YouTube so your friends, everyone can see it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and there's been over 1,000 of you in the building on an impromptu 1 p.m. rumour mill. So thank you so much for your continued support. Guys, have a good one.